All right, let's jump right in. I want you to imagine something. Let's say you're trying to understand a super advanced machine, but you've been given two totally different sets of blueprints. One just tells you the machine's ultimate purpose, its grand mission. The other one? It's all about the nitty-gritty, the wiring, the gears, every last line of code. Well, that is the exact puzzle scientists are wrestling with when they try to understand the most complex machine of all, our own mind.
And that brings us to the absolute heart of this whole explainer. On one side, we're asking about the big why. What's the fundamental problem our mind actually evolved to solve? And on the other, we desperately want to know the how. What are the precise mechanical steps our brain is taking to create a thought or an action? So, to even begin to tackle this, cognitive science came up with two distinct ways of looking at the problem. Think of them as two different lenses. But the real challenge, the absolute holy grail here, is figuring out how to get these two very different views to focus on the same thing and give us one single clear picture.
So, what are these two lenses? They're called the computational and the algorithmic levels of analysis. Let's break down what those fancy terms actually mean, because it's really not that complicated.
First, you've got the computational level. The best way to think about this is as the prime directive, right? If you were building a chess-playing robot, its prime directive, its computational goal, would be super simple: win the tournament. That's it. It doesn't specify how to win, just that winning is the ultimate objective.
And then we have the algorithmic level. This is the step-by-step code. So for our chess robot, this would be the actual program it's running, how it evaluates the board, calculates the best future moves, and picks the one it's going to make. It's the real mechanism that drives the robot's behavior.
And here you can see the distinction laid out perfectly. The computational level is the why, win the tournament. The algorithmic level is the how, the specific steps for figuring out the next best move. One is the grand overarching goal, the other is the detailed, boots-on-the-ground plan to make it happen. So here's the crucial point. Having these two separate views is, well, it's a problem. We don't just want two different blueprints, we need to know how they fit together. We need to find that missing link, to build a bridge between them.
And this leads us to the multi-billion-dollar question for researchers. How can we be sure that the specific step-by-step code our mind is actually running is the best possible solution for its prime directive? How do all the messy mechanics of our psychology perfectly, and I mean perfectly, align with the huge, high-level problems we need to solve just to survive? Now, what's really fascinating here is that this isn't just some philosophical thought experiment. As this quote makes clear, building that bridge, that is a central driving goal for entire fields like mathematical psychology. It's really about creating a unified theory of the mind.
Okay, so how do scientists even try to build this bridge? Well, one of the most exciting attempts actually takes its inspiration from our deep, deep past.
The inspiration for one of the most promising models comes straight out of evolutionary psychology. And the logic is pretty simple, really. The prime directives for our minds, they were set by the evolutionary challenges our ancestors had to face. So if you want to understand the why, that's where you've got to look. So, this evolutionary thinking has led to a really specific framework designed to be that bridge. It's called Locally Bayesian Learning, or LBL for short. Okay, so how does this LBL model actually work? Think of the mind not as one giant supercomputer, but as a whole team of highly specialized mini robots. Each one of these little robots, or modules, is a master statistician. It's constantly updating its beliefs based on new evidence. That's the Bayesian part. But here's the catch. They can't have these complex, deep conversations. Nope. They can only pass really simple, restricted messages back and forth, like little memos. Let's make this real. Imagine you're an early human, and you hear a rustle in the bushes. Predator or just the wind? Your LBL system kicks into gear. The auditory module doesn't send some detailed report. It just shoots off a simple message. High probability of animal movement. Meanwhile, your visual module scans the area and sends its own memo. No visual on a threat. Another module for memory adds its note. Hey, this area is usually safe. All these simple messages feed into a decision-making module that weighs the evidence and tells you to be cautious, but not to panic and run away just yet. And that rustling bush example shows you exactly why this model is so powerful. It directly connects the two levels. The why, the big computational problem, is survival, don't get eaten. The how,
The algorithmic process is a specific setup of specialist statisticians passing simple notes. The LBL model gives us a plausible mechanism that could have actually evolved to solve those really fundamental problems.
So, what you should really take away from all this is that while this locally Bayesian learning model is a really elegant and promising map, the territory of the mind is absolutely vast. The exploration is far, far from over.
Which, of course, leaves us with the big question that's guiding the future of this whole area of research. Is LBL the key? Should scientists be doubling down on this model? Or are there other paradigms out there, other bridges just waiting to be built, that will finally give us that grand unified theory of brains, minds, and machines? The quest, for sure, continues.